All right, beginning of the day on day 4. Last night I felt like I hit a wall with the composing. Right now I'm sitting at 62 bars in 3 days. But the problem is, on the final hearings last night, just listening to it, it's one of those I started to hate what I've done. And I think every artist gets to that stage that they hate what they've done. And it's just, it hit weird last night. And I'm going to come back to it this morning with fresh ears. I'm going to try and listen to it in some different environments. And I know that the last 8 bars that I was really having the issues with are not fully complete yet. I've still got some upper woodwind texture to go, and that was left out of all my hearings. So today may be an interesting day. I may have to either rewrite the section or forge ahead and just get past the insecurities. So that's the plan today. I foresee maybe doing a little bit more. I mean, if I do another 8 bars, it gets me to 70 bars, 70% of the way through. That's a passing grade. But we'll see what happens. So I've gone ahead and moved into a different room for my first morning listen, and the reason for that is I've got speakers set up behind me, and that way I can hear the music a little bit better than just coming through my laptop speakers or through my headphones. So I'm going to give it a listen, and we'll just see what my morning gut reaction is. Okay, so that's my first morning listen. I'm not as upset with it as I was last night. I think last night I was just exhausted. And you get to that point where you're exhausted and you don't like anything or anyone. And so today, I think we're going to just forge ahead. There are things I know I need to fix in it so far, but I think it works. Alright, I've come to the conclusion that I hate a good chunk of what I've written. I've written and rewritten and deleted and undeleted. But this section is throwing me for a loop. I just spent the last hour entering in scalar runs and the flutes and clarinets, and I don't think it works. I'll show you what I put in, and I think you'll kind of see why it doesn't work. And as you can hear, that is not my best writing. Far from it. That's just isolating the upper woodwind parts, but it doesn't work. And so I'm going to have to go and do a rewrite on all that. Wasted time. A little while later, progress by deletion. I've ended up deleting all the woodwind parts, save for the contrabass clarinet, in the last 8 bars, and just have it be a full brass feature. And somehow, just by doing that, I'm more comfortable with it. It feels more right now to get rid of the high trilly bits, and gives me a full brass feature. So I'm actually okay with that. Maybe I was just trying to do too much in it, but this is composing at its finest. Write something, say it's, and then delete it. And so I have to do it on every piece, and this just hitting that wall here. Alright, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't feel like I've done a lot of work today, but in reality I think I have. I had a nice lunch break and a coffee break, and what I ended up doing is just a lot of thinking about the piece, and I realized what I didn't like was the transition into the final 8 bars I had. And when in doubt, go back to the original plan. And I looked at it, and the original plan just said 16 bars climax, and I didn't have any details on it. And I guess my initial thinking was play the A theme in climax and the B theme in climax. Done. Development. The music didn't like that idea. The music said, why don't you do the B theme first? And partly it'd be the second iteration of the B theme. And so what I did is I inserted 8 bars in between the last 8 bars I had and the section before that with the new B theme, and lo and behold, it smooths out considerably. There's still some smoothing out I've got to do on the A theme climax, but it works surprisingly well. I've got now a solo trumpet and a solo euphonium, just belting out the melody and the counter melody, and then bassoons and bass clarinets just digging in on a really meaty, cool bass line, and it really, really works. And now I've just got to smooth it out, and that gets me to measure 70, which is passing grade if you ask me. So anyway, that's where we're standing right now. I'll come back later. So it's about 9 o'clock at night. Part of me feels like I've wasted most of the latter part of the day. But then I realized that I solved some really big problems today. That fixed a lot of the transition material, and got rid of the parts that I absolutely hated. And I think that's a much, much bigger success than actually adding more measures to the piece. I can add more measures all the time, but if the stuff that exists isn't right, no sense in going on. So to wrap up, what I did is I had that 8 bars at the end that just didn't fit very well. I mean, it was good music. It needed a transition in, so another 8 bars go in front of that, and that builds up to it. I change the textures supporting the original 8 bars, and then later on, I added another 8 bars after that. So in total, the 16 bars have been added today, putting me at, I think it's 78 measures. I'll have to check, but I think it's about there. And yeah, 78 measures, which is a passing grade. I'm not going to fail the course, but at least need a B. I can get 2 more measures and get myself a B, but I also have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I've got 3 more days to finish it. I had an engraver look at it today and point out all the places where I need to fix engraving, which I know this is 4 days, you don't get something written and engraved. But that's where we're standing right now. It's 78 bars of music in 4 days. It's like a little over 4 minutes of music. And part of me says this is fast to do this. And then part of me realizes that a Hollywood composer needs to do 1.5 minutes a day, usually, is average. Which would mean in 4 days, a Hollywood composer would have 6 minutes of music done. Yeah, a big film score would take 6 weeks. So I'm about right there. We'll try and work faster tomorrow.